For number 6, it says Sarah bought 12 bags of large buttons. Each bag had 15 buttons in it. She also bought 17 bags of small buttons, and each of those bags had 30 buttons in it. How many more small buttons did she buy than large buttons? So this one has quite a few steps you've got to worry about, but if you break it down and figure out what are the pieces that I need to know, it makes it a little bit easier. That final question asks you how many more small buttons than large buttons. So we know we're going to have to know how many small buttons there were. We're also going to need to know how many large buttons there were. So that's going to be my first step. So I look back at the problem, and it tells me in the very first sentence that Sarah bought 12 bags of large buttons, and each of those had 15 buttons. So for large, I'm going to have 15 times 12. So I've got repeated groups of the same amount. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. I'm going to put my happy little placeholder. 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 1 is 1. So we end up with a total of 180 large buttons. So I don't want to worry about the small ones. She got 17 bags, and each of those had 30 buttons. So we're going to do 30 times 17. 7 times 0 is 0, and 7 times 3 is 21. We're going to put our happy little placeholder. 1 times 0 is 0, and 1 times 3 is 3. We're going to add those up, and we get 510. So right now I have 510 small buttons and 180 large buttons, which makes it a lot easier now to figure out how many more small buttons than large buttons. When you're asking how much more or how much less, that's a comparison, so we're finding the difference between the two. And anytime you hear that word difference, it should go ding, ding, ding. That means I need to subtract. So we're going to take 510, and we're going to subtract 180. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 8, I can't do that, so I'm going to come over and borrow. Now 11 minus 8 is 3, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So there are going to be 330 more small buttons that she purchased. And that's your answer to number 6.